My name is Emily Binks. I'm an artist based in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, and last year I was selected as one of the engagement artists for Yorkshire Sculpture International 2019. My practice is based around the notion of home, ideas of survival and shelter and sanctuary. I've always been captured by the basic human condition of needing a sense of belonging somewhere. Normally, my ideas would manifest through the study of and dismantling and reassembling of disused domestic furniture. My favourite things to use are sofas, armchairs, and bed frames, as this keeps the work large scale and physically imposing, but still has an element of familiarity to it.
During lockdown, I've been making sculptures using only tape and newspaper. This is my submission for the A Sculpture a Day video series, and I'll be showing you my process and ideas. Here you can see how I'm rolling the newspaper into spills. When rolled tightly from opposite corners, they become more rigid like sticks, which are perfect for construction. My experience of home has been placed under examination again while I stay somewhere temporarily during the lockdown period. I've been documenting the space by using the newspaper spills to trace different shapes within the house, slotting the spills inside each other to make them longer and bending and folding them to create the same lines. Once all the shapes are how I want them and all the bends are in place, I then reinforce them with more tape just to make sure that they're strong enough to hold themselves in place. Making sculptures in this way is like my version of keeping a record of how I've felt during this time and in this place. Once all the bends are in place and reinforced, I then bring the sculpture out away from the object that I've just traced and try to get it to stand up on its own. This turns it into a more abstract object in its own right, that's yet still suggestive of the original object due to the shared similarities in some of the lengths and angles of the sculpture sections. You could push the idea a little further and use a different coloured tape like I have here to cover the newspaper print and make the sculpture really pop and stand out. Another way which I've developed this process further is by enlarging the scale of the sculptures. At the moment, for me, I find it really interesting and important that they interact with the space that they were created in. But having said that, I would also be interested to see what impact they had once installed in an impartial setting. The big idea would be to try and document the whole house in this way.